I just want to say congratulations on the Canadian Screen Awards for Best Show, and also Hamza Best Lead Actor. I think that the Canadian awards are always overlooked. So, but congratulations on them.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So this is a very Canadian show. It stands out from all the American dramas, Grey's Anatomy, even The Good Doctor. What would you both say makes it stand out as such a Canadian show?
I would say hopefully that we've accomplished something in trying to tell a universal story. But since Canada was so vocal about its acceptance of refugees and everything like that, and how it approaches immigration at large, and celebrating its diversity, and all of those things, to put somebody from that background at the forefront of a show is a very Canadian thing. It hasn't been done in another show to this capacity at this scale. But the other thing is that it is a medical show where none of the patients ever have to discuss how they're going to pay for the procedure, and that's a very Canadian thing. That was one of the things about. I'm just like, I wonder if audiences are going to really not relate to it in the States, because that's a massive thing. So there's, I think in season 1 there's this thing where well, okay, cool, if he's not documented, the hospital will absorb the emergent costs, and that'll be that, and we'll just send him on his way. And it's just I remember watching it with my sister who lives in the States. She's just that's wild that you guys still do that, as if the country's still running how by giving away all this free medicine, or free healthcare. So I think, yeah, those two both social and these healthcare aspects that make it a Canadian show.
Similar to what Hamza said on the first point, I felt very much that when I read it, being from the UK, yeah, I would have been surprised a main station here or in the US putting a refugee story front and center on what is a procedural drama.
Thank you. So, John, while I've got you, you are so well known for the movies. What was it about this TV show that pulled you into this?
Exactly what I just said. Actually, that was an opportunity to take part in something that is obviously going to be entertaining, but hopefully going to be entertaining, and it has heart and soul. It's not being made around commercials for Mercedes or whatever. It's being made because the writers have been commissioned to tell this story, and there was really limited. It really felt like there was limited interference. I say interference. I'm sure there's another word for that, but they really were allowed to express the story and tell the story that they wanted to tell, which was really nice. You can sometimes get a little bit tied up with the amount of people who have an opinion about what you should be doing. Having commissioned somebody to do something and then trying to change it, it just seems sort of, it seems the wrong way around. You've commissioned somebody to do it, let them do it, and then see who's run it up the flagpole and see who salutes.
So we were left with Dr. Bishop being in the will he, won't he, wake up sort of situation. With you being here, I'm going to go on a wild guess. Yeah. He wakes up.
I'll wake up, yeah.
So can you tease anything about what's come, the repercussions from ignoring all these signs up to this point?
Yeah.
And with the new acting head, Novak, who comes in, can you tease anything about this?
Yeah, I mean, that's very much the kind of central tranche of Bishop's journey through this is dealing with the political fallout of the decisions he made in season 1, and that doesn't just imply a kind of personal jeopardy, but also Bash is brought into the firing line by the fact that I had gone out on a limb, as it were, to get him into the hospital and to bring him in. So being under that kind of scrutiny puts us both in the firing line, as I say. I think Bishop's a kind of political operator at this point as much as anything. So again, he tries to protect Bashir by allowing him to simply get on with the hospital with his medical work, what he's good at. But you know, here's a man who has had a sword hanging over his head for quite a number of years now, and doesn't necessarily flinch, but at the same time, having finally found some space, doesn't want that taken away again.
And for Bash, you know, Hamza, what's it going to be like for him now with Novak being there? It's a precarious situation for him when he's just been finding his feet. So can you tease anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just you know, there's a new boss in town, you know, and like it or not, I still have to do my job. You know, Bash does have to go into survival mode in that sense, where he has to continue to keep doing his job regardless of, and he tries to have that conversation with Bishop on how to navigate that, on how to deal with this new doctor that Dr. Bishop has a history with. The tumultuous thing there is that Dr. Novak has a similar experience in performing or exercising his medicine in Doctors Without Borders. So he's been in these conflict zones, providing medical aid and everything, and that's something that he can relate to. And there are cases that that Bash is unaware of that Novak helps him with directly because of his expertise. He still is a good doctor, but he's not Dr. Bishop. And Bash has an unwavering loyalty to that. And, you know, you know, in a lot of ways, if Dr. Bishop goes, Bash goes too, because, you know, he's the only one protecting him from the onslaught of the bureaucracy of the medical system. Yeah, you know, he's the only one saving him from that due to his lack of medical translators, or his lack of proof that he has those original medical transcripts. So there's a lot of push and pull going on.
Isn't it shocking? Just for a moment, having stepped back from the show that we were doing, don't you find it shocking sometimes when you read those stories about people who were working in a hospital for years pretending to be doctors and they weren't doctors?
Yeah,
they were just
like how do they
faking it?
I just read one a couple of days ago where it was just this guy, this kid who like started at like 20 something, did it for 10 years and treated like thousands of patients with like a really high success rate.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like every few years there's another story pops up about like, there's somebody who managed to get through the. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's wild. Transplant.
I mean, Bash's story is not that out of this world crazy.
Yeah.
So at the end of season 1 for Bash, we saw this woman turn up at the end, and just as Bash and Mags, and do we have a ship name for them? Mash, Bash. So just as they got together, this woman has turned up. You obviously know her, and Amira knows her, and I love this dynamic you have with Amira on the series. But you know, can you tease anything about this woman? What's it going to do with Bash and Mags? You know, who is she?
So I can tell you, this is Bash's fiance that he was separated from at the advent of the crisis in Syria, and he thought she was dead, and I mean that's the last lines in season 1, and now all of a sudden she's come back, and there is this second chance aspect to it, and it's something that Bash is initially very confused about and kind of angry about, because you know she knew he was alive this whole time and she never reached out, but it was due to, you know, political circumstances. And when she's finally back, I think he's so excited to like have her back in his life, what it could mean for him. It's, you know, it's a feeling of being back at home. It's comfort and stability for Amira, but he is a different man to who he was 5 years ago. And I think throughout the season we see him navigate whether that aspect of his life from the past fits into his life today, and we'll see what happens.
So my last question, Bash phones a friend, or his friend phones him a lot from Syria to ask for advice. Will we see any more of that? And are more doctors going to find out that he's been helping on the side?
Yes.
Thank you. That was playing with me, because it's like I really like that aspect that he still wants to help.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It happens. It does happen.